Hey guys, Kevin here from Excel Aquatics. Welcome to another technical analysis video. Today we have Dayna, one of our Sunday triathletes who submitted her freestyle video from our past winter session, January, February. So this is a recent video. Very excited to kind of go over this. We've been working with Dayna for a number of years now. She's improved immensely, not just in the pool, but also with her open water swimming skills. So there's definitely some good content here that we're going to be able to go over. But before we get started, our quick reminder, nice little plug. Please make sure, like the video, subscribe to our content. That way, as we release more, you'll be notified. Alright, so starting off here, we are going to go over the side view for Dayna. Okay? So as we can see, there's definitely a couple of really good things that Dayna's doing right now, and I know that she's been working on for quite some time. We talk a lot about our breath timing here at Excel Aquatics, right? Our breath timing here at Excel. But our breath timing a lot of times is dictated by our balance, okay? When we go to breathe in swimming, we're going to be most off balance, right? Our surface area is going to decrease every time we rotate our body, even a little bit. So what we want to make sure is we optimize and maximize our surface area every time we go to breathe. What do I mean by that? Well, when we have our one arm recovering, our arm that's under the water should be staying out front. That's going to help us balance, right? Increase our surface area and make it so much easier to keep a good body line when we breathe. All right. So hands down, the first thing I want to give props to Dayna for is she really does an awesome job both sides, leaving her arm out front, doing a nice 3/4 catch up. Okay, you can see as she breathes, that arm is out front. Okay, that is excellent. We always want to keep that arm out front. You see, a lot of times swimmers will let that arm drop. All right, as the other arm is recovering, really making it difficult to balance, and as a result, forcing the swimmer to have to ride their legs a lot. Okay, so first and foremost, really nice job, Dayna, keeping that one arm out front, always catching up. Okay. Second thing, does a really good job of here, and I'll see if I can pull up the opposite side clip in a second. We see really good body line, and stays really low on the breath. Okay, definitely from this side, you can see that her cap is not coming fully out of the water every time she breathes. Bobs a little bit, but realistically, still staying low on that breath. We really like to see that. Okay, when we talk about breathing and swimming, good analogy that we like to use is trying to keep one goggle under the water when we go to breathe. Again, depending on the swimmer, certainly, you know, that can vary a little bit. But as a general rule of thumb, we don't want to be lifting our head out of the water. We talk about laying our head on a pillow, keeping our chin low when we go to breathe, and that is huge. So Dayna, excellent job there. Okay, let me see if I can pull up the other clip here, other side. All right, we can see when Dayna's going to breathe again. We can see the bottom of that goggle. All right, again, arm is staying out front as we have the arm pulling and going to recover. Awesome job. Okay, a lot of times you'll see, and every swimmer this is going to happen to a little bit, when your arm, all right, is recovering, your recovering arm is above your body. All right, that's going to change your center of mass, so you are going to dip a little bit. You can see, we can see more of Dayna's goggle as her arm is recovering. Not a bad thing. A lot of times just trying to tighten up the core a little bit will help stabilize and prevent a little bit of movement up and down, but still staying low on the breath. Awesome job. Okay, we're going to go back to the first video. All right. So first, in terms of areas to improve, one thing I would say, and this happens a lot when we do videos with our swimmers, we do want to make sure that we're laying off the legs a little bit. Now again, anytime the camera's on, it's easy to get a little bit excited, ride the legs a little bit more than usual. Now, because I've worked with Dayna a lot, I know she typically doesn't kick like this, but it's always good to keep in mind, even when you're excited, you're nervous, right? It's the start of a race. We want to make sure we keep our legs in check, okay? So you can see that's a little bit of a strong kick for Dayna. I think that laying off those legs a little bit, especially because she does such a nice job catching up out front, you can really afford to let those legs do half the amount of work, if not less, than we're seeing right now. Okay, so again, laying off the legs even when we're excited, definitely a major key. All right. Second thing that we can talk about here actually is the timing of our breath when our head is coming back down. All right. Now, if anyone watched one of our previous videos with Coach Laura, we talked about making sure that we want to turn our head, shoulders, and hips when we go to breathe at the same time, and then when we go back down. All right. Now, same thing with Dayna. Now, Dayna here, I think, does a pretty good job breathing early. All right. That's kind of evident with how low she's able to stay on her breath. That being said, a couple strokes here, you can see she's swinging her head back down actually a little early. She's starting to swing that head. Right. Little bit of swing. Nothing too crazy. But again, when we swing our head a little bit early, all right, particularly when we're coming off of the breath, it's easy for our hips to start to swivel a little bit. Again, a little more nitpicky, but it's those micro adjustments that we make that can certainly have a huge impact over the long term, especially over distance races. So I would say, Dayna, just try and make sure that as that head is coming down, keep it in line with the shoulders as we're rotating our body. You don't need to swing that head ahead of the shoulders. Keeping it in line will make it a little bit easier to keep those shoulders in line, okay? And, excuse me, hips in line, all right? Last thing that I think that we can tinker with, and this is a little bit more advanced, probably the most advanced thing we will talk about here. We did talk about what a nice job Dayna does when she's recovering, leaving that front arm out. That being said, what we can always do a little bit of, even though our arm is out front, we want to try and start to set up that catch a little bit. All right, you can see the elbow's a little bit dropped. All right, a little bit lower than the fingertips. We actually want to try and get that elbow a little bit higher, starting to set up that catch a little bit more as our arm's recovering. Okay, now again, if we have a huge elbow bend, I'll back up a little bit, huge elbow bend when our opposite arm is recovering, we're really not going to be that balanced, but really just trying to change that angle slightly. We'd want to bring those fingertips down a little bit, elbow up a little bit higher. That'll still allow us to stay balanced every time our opposite arm is recovering, especially when we breathe, but set up that catch a little bit earlier. Okay, you can see there's a little bit of a drop before Dayna's really able to grab that water effectively. Now, once she grabs, okay, she does a really nice job pulling all the way through, finishing past the hips. But even when we're waiting out front, back up just a little bit, okay, setting up that catch slightly. I'm talking a very little micro adjustment, bringing that elbow up a little bit higher. Then our fingertips will make it a lot easier to catch earlier once she does initiate the catch and pull. All right, let's move on to the front view here real quick. All right, as you can see, right, as Dayna, she has her right arm out front. You can see that her elbow is lower than her fingertips. Again, she's doing a great job stabilizing, but we want to try and get those fingertips a little bit lower, elbow a little bit higher, still keep that stability while the opposite arm is recovering. Okay, that's just going to set that catch up a little bit easier. Okay, you can even see the point, all right? It's a little bit of a different reference here. The point of which Dayna is really starting to grab water is probably at her shoulder line, maybe a little bit past, okay? Because again, she's locking out and dropping the elbow and the hand, or dropping the elbow and raising the hand slightly as she's balancing. All right? But again, and I just want to reiterate this, certainly a little bit more advanced. Balance is the first priority, I think, when we're talking about extending our arm out front. Once we're able to balance, then we can talk about the catch, the positioning, and then certainly the pull from a propulsive standpoint. Okay? All right, so as a quick recap, watching Dayna, she does a really good job with balancing. Okay, body line's pretty good. Does a really awesome job breathing early, staying low on the breath. We just want to make sure, number one, we lay off of those legs a little bit. Okay. Number two, we want to let the head come back down after the breath with the rest of our body, our shoulders and our hips, just to prevent any swivel with the hips. And then number 3, making sure that when she extends that arm out front, setting up that catch slightly. Thank you all for watching. Again, if you do have videos you would like some analysis on, please feel free. Send those in. info@goesfromexcel.com is our email address. We'll be posting content on a weekly basis. Don't forget to smile. Have an amazing day, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon.